remember just, trying techniques and them totally failing and some totally becoming successful. And the ones that were successful are the ones we clung to. And the ones that didn't work, we just threw them out. I always go back to what Bruce Lee said. He said, use nothing as the way. There really is no path. You just, whatever works, you use it. Whatever doesn't, throw it out.
Hi everybody, my name is Frank Shamrock, the 5-time undefeated Ultimate Fighting Champion. I'm here to show you today how to strike with maximum power and not get hit. The first thing you want to focus on is your stance, and stance is the most important thing on striking, how to gain power and mobility. We'll step in here to my line. The key to getting a good solid stance is run a straight line right through your body. Put your front leg right on the front of that line, on the side of it, and take your rear leg and put that on the side of the line as well. Now you've got a nice line running through your body and a good place to set your weight down and have balance. This is the key to a real good striking stance and developing power. Now once you have balance, you've got a good solid line, your opponent's at 12 o'clock and in front of you, now you want to focus on your breathing. Anytime you want to move, create any power, any action, or do any strike, you have to breathe. And that comes from the belly, explodes out through your chest and through your mouth. So proper breathing for any punch, any movement is push the air out. And it seems simple right now. When we add all the techniques and it gets a little more complicated, focus on your breathing is going to be a little harder. So that's why we're addressing it right now. Breathe out your air, breathe out your power. Now that we're in our stance, we're going to make a decision on our striking. Do we want to strike with speed or strike with power? It's a simple decision to make. It only changes with the rear of your leg. Now your rear foot propels all of your forward motion and brings all of your strikes forward. If I leave my leg flat and solid to the ground, that's going to give me maximum power. I'm going to be able to move my weight more effectively and with more control. If I bring the ball of my foot up, it puts me in a sprinter stance, which will give me speed, make me faster, but it'll take some of the power from what I have. So again, we have speed and power. Speed and power. Very simple. So your rear leg is going to be the key to developing all of your power or all of your speed. We'll talk more about this later in this program, but for right now, I just want you to remember speed or power. Moving on to movement and footwork for effective striking. Once you have a good solid stance, you know how to breathe, you either want power or speed, you have intention. Now we've got to get that attack going. We've got to get it forward. The footwork and movement of striking is very subtle and very simple, but at the same time a little bit complicated. So I'm going to show you very slowly how to create constant movement so you can always attack and always retreat. Because that is really the key to effective striking, is being able to leave and being able to attack at any time that you want. The first thing we'll address is constant movement. Now, the problem with striking is you have to move your head. If you don't move your head, you're going to get cracked. You see in boxing all the time, all the boxers are always doing a little subtle movement with their head. So what I want to do is get that good solid stance, feel comfortable and balanced, and I just want to start a little bit of movement of my head. That way if a punch comes toward me, it's really easy for me to move my head out of the way because it's already moving anyway. Right now we'll just leave the feet where they're at, but I want to focus on just a subtle movement with my head. The best way to do it, get a mirror, look at yourself, and just good solid stance, just move your head a little bit. Think about someone trying to punch you in the head. Once we have good head movement, which is key, I want to begin moving my feet. That's where I'll really get into the power of striking. Now, moving your feet is really simple. It's almost always moving forward, moving back, or moving side to side. Now, the most important thing is that every time I move, I always maintain my stance. So there's never an opportunity where I will move forward, back, side to side, and lose that stance, that balance, and that power. So I'm going to show you briefly just a few drills that I want to do to develop that movement. We'll keep it simple, and we'll keep it linear for right now. First one is just forward and back. So I'll take a small step and advance my entire body forward. Now it seems simple. I've done this for hundreds of hours because the stress of someone trying to punch you in the head or kick you in the leg while moving around and remembering all these things is really complicated. That's where you get into footwork. Now, boxers, kickboxers, mixed martial arts fighters, everybody does footwork and does lots of it. You have to train your body to move around and do all these things while still being comfortable in punching. So footwork is key. There's a number of drills you can do to develop that footwork. The easiest one is follow a straight line, forward and back, side to side. When you get a little more complicated, you can actually develop the muscles in your feet and develop the muscles in your calves to explode quicker, to react quicker, so that you can move from point to point faster and faster. I'm going to show you a couple quick drills, and what I'll do is I'm going to use the lines that are already on this mat, and whether you want to put a line down or not, whether you have mats on your floor that have lines, get a line to begin to work with. That'll help your feet develop speed. I'm going to take my stance again, heel to toe on that line, and I'm just going to start a little bit of movement making an angle. Now, I just turned 45 degrees. Really simple, really short. This little turn, as small as it is, when someone is punching at me, if I can make this same turn, I'll be completely out of the way. Let me show you a couple of these footwork and movement drills so you'll be able to develop your body and your feet, move around a little bit quicker. Now, it's really important. I don't have a lot of time to drill on this, but watch my feet. I want you to replicate this, even if it's just for a few minutes, so you'll understand how you need to move, where you need to move to be most effective for this. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn right. I call it turning right because if I'm looking at you and fighting, I'm going to take my whole body, pivot over on my front leg. Now I've turned my whole body to the right. It's a short, tiny movement, very effective. Someone punches at me this way, I don't want to be there. I can turn right, I'll be out of the way and available to punch again. So that's the first one, turning right. Second one we'll do is we'll step and then turn left. So again, you're my opponent, we're punching, I don't like it. Take a little step to my left, turn my whole fighting stance to another position. Now, it's important when I'm doing these turns that, one, I'm on the ball of my foot and I'm comfortable. And two, that I'm actually turning my whole body, rotating it so that I can get there quickly. Now, when you rotate your body, you create power. When I punch, I rotate my body. So, if I'm stepping and rotating my body, I can actually move and punch at the same time. Let's do a few more of those footwork drills. I want to show you just how they flow together with a little bit of repetition. Now, if I was going to actually do some rounds of footwork and training, I would do 5 rounds, 6 rounds, 7 rounds, 8 rounds, just of moving around, moving my feet, teaching my body how to be there, be comfortable, be present, and balanced. So here we go. We're going to forward, forward, back, back, turn left, turn right, forward, forward, back, back, turn left, turn right. That's footwork. It's simple, but it just takes a long time to get comfortable and get relaxed. Other things that help you with footwork, quick feet movement, quick side-to-side movement, jumping rope. All those are designed to develop your feet, develop those dense proprioceptor muscles that react quickly and move you where you need to be. Along with changing position and moving, there's also changing the angle and changing the level. We're doing constant movement. We're moving our body around. Now, anytime I get confronted with a situation, I can do one of two things to alleviate the problem immediately. If I stay right here, somebody's going to hit me eventually. But I've got a little constant movement. Now I can begin to change levels. Changing levels is a simple concept. If the punch is here and I'm here, it's not going to hit me. So I can take my constant movement, and if I feel uncomfortable, I can change the level. And just that little drop of 4 to 6 inches gets me out of the way of that punch. Changing levels and combining movement enables me to constantly move forward, constantly be aggressive, and if something happens or comes towards me, I can easily move my head out of the way, change levels, or I can step to the left and change my position. Then I'm not in the position to be punched or hit, which makes it effective and safe. Let me show you now how to generate maximum power. For now, we're going to deal with the chambering of energy in your body. Right now, we're moving around. We're comfortable. We've got a good, solid stance. We want to develop maximum power. Problem with most styles, problem with most punches, is that people don't extend their body and use 100% of that energy and weight. I want to show you how to right now. There's a couple drills that will develop that. And those drills are the torso twist and the lunge punch. Both of those specifically develop the muscles that we're going to use right now to make maximum power happen on punching. Now, My torso twist is really simple. I get in that good stance that I want to punch from, and I want to turn my torso completely so that I'm developing maximum power. And this bends both ways to make that punch happen. Now my drill is, I get my hands up, my elbows out, good centerpiece of balance, and I just want to find that comfortable spot where I'm turning my body completely and I'm balanced and relaxed. Now this is all you do when you're punching. You're totally chambering your body. Same thing for kicking. Totally chambering your body. So maximum power is developed when that body is balanced and can rotate 100%. The second one I want to show you is the lunge punch. The lunge punch is a deep step that'll set me into here and put the weight of holding up the energy of holding my body right here in my legs and my butt. Now when I'm punching or doing my torso twist, this is what's actually stabilizing me. If you want a good workout, try to stay here for 3 or 4 rounds and do this. This will develop everything on your lower body, as well as give you that power that you want when you throw a punch and you want maximum power. Hopefully by now you've done all this stuff and you're feeling comfortable and relaxed. I want to show you the theory of striking. What I mean by the theory of striking is there's an actual very simple theory that completely and utterly explains the concept of striking safe and effectively. For that, I'm going to bring in my partner, Kelly Delonte, who was good enough to come out with us today. Kelly Delonte is a former UFC competitor and an all-around good guy.
Well, thanks,
why don't you be my clock partner? And I'm going to show them the clock theory.
Right.
So let's put you right here facing me. That way they can get the angle from over here. Now, the theory behind the clock is your opponent should always be at 12 o'clock and never at another time. So think of that as a concept. Every time I'm going to get into any kind of altercation, this guy has to be right in front of me at 12 o'clock. If I let him slip off at any of these other time zones, I'm going to get hurt because it's not going to be effective. Now, you have safety in angles. And what that means is, if I step in here at 12 o'clock, I'm going to step right into whatever he's doing. I can't have that. It's not safe. If I want to strike him, the safest thing for me to do is constant movement, forward motion, and step off at another time. Step off at 10 or 2, just like driving. Step off at 11, step off at 1. But don't step in at 12 o'clock. That's where the shortest, fastest strike is, and that is down the straight line. Since we're talking about the straight line, let's address it. Punching straight is the quickest, powerfulest, and most effective way to get in there and punch first. So I want to avoid that unless I have the advantage. Assuming I don't have the advantage, I'm in a self-defense situation, I always want to step off at some of those angles. Let me show you what it looks like when I step off at the angle. Right now, my man's at 12 o'clock. I am always going to leave him there. I want to step off over here at 10 o'clock and throw my punch. That way, if he punches down a straight line, I won't even be here to get hit. That's the kind of striking you want to do. Safe and effective, without damage. The same holds true if I step to the other side. I'm going to step over here where he is not and then throw my punch. And it will allow me to be out of the way of the straight line and cut that angle and make the strike. Now, kicking, kneeing, everything comes on that same clock theory. So if I want to kick him, I'm going to step over here at 10 o'clock and I'm going to kick him in the leg where he is not able to strike me. That's what the clock is about. So think about that. Think about it when you're doing your shadow. You should always be at 12 o'clock, turning your body so you're facing and seeing yourself. Anytime you're doing any sparring or shadow sparring or partner sparring, he should always be at 12 o'clock. Take a step to your left. Always at 12 o'clock. Take a step to your right. Always at 12 o'clock. Those little foot turns and stuff we did earlier, that's what will enable you to make that easy transition so that he doesn't get over here and be striking when you're not seeing. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. now that we've addressed the clock theory and we're feeling comfortable with that stance and that idea, I want to start adding some active movement in there, some distance, some timing, and some participation. So this is when Kelly really get involved here. Kelly, will you get some gloves for us?
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks. So the thing about striking is it's all about distance and it's all about timing and it's all about danger. That's one of the big problems with striking. It's dangerous. Every time you punch or you move into punch, you have the ability to get hit. And that's where problems come in. That's where you get struck. And that's where you get intimidated and you get tired because you're getting hit. You're actually getting struck. We're going to avoid some of that right now. I'm going to teach you how to get out of the way of that. Let me put them gloves on there. Could you give me some water too as well?
Yeah, just a minute.
Thanks. Okay. So I want to deal first with timing. Now, the deal with timing is you have to be, one, comfortable, and then two, present while all those punches are going on so that you feel comfortable with what's going on. Can you give me a towel or something too as well?
Sure, just a second.
I don't think we have towels. All right, so timing. I need a partner to really develop timing. Oh, thanks, Kelly. You're the best.
No problem.
You know I was busting your chops, right?
Yeah. Get those gloves on.
Okay, so timing is where we're going to start. The problem with timing is you have to be present in what's going on, and you also need someone to time with. You can't learn timing by yourself. That's why ring time and sparring and parrying are so important. Once you get good timing, you can effectively strike at all times. On the ground, standing, clinch, it doesn't really matter. It's all about distance and timing. We're going to do a couple drills here. We're going to learn to parry. We're going to learn to move out of the way. Actually move the punches from your direction into another direction. That's where you get close and you can do good damage. We talked about strikes being in a straight line. If you want to strike effectively, strike in that straight line. Leave your body chambered so you can punch straight. Nothing looping, nothing big like this. It's too big of a circle. The shortest, fastest way to him is a straight line. Bam! Right down the middle. And we can strike safely by stepping off and punching straight down the middle. But everything, think of it straight, like your whole body is just going to pass down that line. All of your energy. I want to show you a drill to get you comfortable with distance and timing, with space. I know from my position that this is the end of my punch. So I have to develop this timing situation where every time I punch, he's either there or very close to it. Now this punch does nothing. It takes energy, I don't do any damage, and it doesn't really help me. But this punch makes him react, is in his face, and I have the possibility of punching him. That's why I need a partner to really make this effective. I'm going to show you how to parry the simplest punches and get them out of the way. For the most part, your rear hand is like a windshield wiper. Something comes in the way and you go, and you move it out of the way. Simple, but when someone's trying to punch you in the head with 4-ounce gloves on, it's not so simple. So I want to have Kelly jab at me. I'm going to show you just the simple parry to get it out of the way. Let's just do the jab for right now, and I'll move it out of the way just like a windshield wiper. And I'm going to breathe when I do it so that I don't expend energy and I'm comfortable. So throw your jab. This is how I want to start. And we actually start this slow and warm up and get comfortable until he can throw a nice jab and I can move it out of the way. Now you're actually going to get hit sometimes on this. It'll be a bit surprising. But the next time you do it, you'll be so much more comfortable and confident in that parrying technique that you won't really worry about it. So let me show you how this thing's going to work. We're parrying the rear hand with his jab. So this is my windshield wiper. I'm going to move it right out of the way. Every time. Move it out of the way. Move it out of the way. Move it out of the way. Now if I'm doing constant head movement, I can probably move my head out of the way as well, which gives you a nice simple drill here that when someone punches at you, you're not going to go and take it. You're actually going to move it out of the way and move your head out of the way. The rear hand has more power. So you want to be careful when that rear hand comes that you get it out of the way with the front hand so it doesn't get in here and do damage to you. So when his rear hand comes, when his power hand comes, I'm going to use that front hand just like a windshield wiper, and I'm going to move it out of the way. Move it out of the way. Now I can move my head out of the way as well. And again, I'm moving my head off to that 45-degree angle at 2 or 10 o'clock on my clock, and I'm getting out of the way. This is my parrying drill. This is how you develop real good distance and timing. Now here's what I do to make sure he's doing his technique right. Occasionally I'll just leave my face there, and I'll see if he's really punching or if he's just playing with me. Because you should be punching with real technique. We learn the technique. We're very comfortable in our stance. We're getting full extensions. This is what it should look like. I have to learn to move those out of the way. That's what a punch really looks like. So make sure your partner's doing it right. You may not have to get punched in the head, but make sure that he's really practicing his technique. Every time you throw a punch, even when you're playing, that's what your punch is going to look like when you're in the ring or when you're sparring or when you're competitive. Always do perfect technique with your strikes. Always do perfect techniques with your kicks, because once you get that technique in your body and it's ingrained, that's what's going to come out. So the footwork, the drills, the punching, everything is perfect technique. Kelly, step out for a second. So we got a pairing drill where I'm moving the things out of the way, getting my head comfortable. I want to get good, clean punching. A good, clean punching is, again, that centered stance and a full extension and rotation of my body with my hands up nice and clean. That's a nice, powerful punch. Bam, bam. So let's look at the jab. The jab is a full chamber of the body, and it's a straight line of energy that goes out. Once I get that stance and I'm comfortable, I want to be able to push that out there, turn it all the way over, create a nice straight line. I'm going to be pushing my shoulder out and getting it out as far as it'll go. So I want to completely rotate that body and get that arm out there. This is what my jab is going to look like. Whether I step or whether I just stand and lean a little bit, I'm still going to reach that out there as far as it'll go. The right hand is similar, but a little bit different. I have the chamber of my body this time, that power we talked about, we built with the torso turns. I'm going to get my good solid stance, and I'm actually going to turn that whole foot around as well as I reach out and make that extension. So if you look at my foot, I'm coming from a nice solid stance, and I'm going to push it all the way out there straight, turn my whole body, and even my foot up to the ball of his foot like I'm sprinting again. That's my power punch with my right hand. That's proper punching. That's what it should look like. When you throw a really good power punch, this is what stops you. Your glutes, your legs, your quads, everything chambers down here and stops that energy from pulling you forward. So when you're doing your movements and you're doing your punches, you should feel that flexing and tightening to keep you in that stance and keep you creating power. So Kelly, will you come back in? Once I have that and I feel a little more comfortable, I have good, what I think are good punches, they're nice and straight, I'll bring my partner in and I'll try it with him. And he's got to move him out of the way or I'm going to hit him in the head and he's not going to want to play with me anymore. So I'm going to start with my jab and I'm just going to get it out there. Now I really want to focus on my technique. So I have to be not concerned about Kelly. And I have to think about my technique. He has to think about getting the punch out of the way. And this is your parrying drill. And it's just like this. It's this simple. Once you develop this and you're comfortable, now you can start doing other things. Now you can start doing a couple of punches. Now when people punch at you, you're not feeling that stress and that strain of I'm going to get hit. Instead, it's move, move, move. Maybe you come back with your counter. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Let's also show you some slipping. Slipping is very important as well. Not just parrying, but parrying and slipping, or slipping to get out of the way of punches. Slipping also comes in because once you change that level with that movement, you can also grab and take down. Or you can just slip the punch, let it go by, and do a little punching of your own. I'll show you a couple examples. I can do my parrying. Go ahead and throw a couple punches there. I can do my parrying, but if I'm uncomfortable with this, or if some start getting through, I can ball up in a good stance, and I can just slip and let everything go by. I'm going to stick my head over at that angle with my feet underneath me. I don't want to be bent over with my head down. Still going to have a good, strong stance, centered, balanced. But instead of staying here and moving them, I'm just going to dip my head off to the side a little bit and let that punch go by. The important thing is that you keep watching what's going on. Don't look over here or don't look down, because then you won't see the next one coming. I see a punch, I don't really like it, I'll just get out of the way. Let the whole thing go by. Now you can also, slipping is an extension of changing levels. So you can also maybe retreat a little bit and then just dip your head down and slip by a punch. Or if you want to throw some punches, and as soon as he punches back, I can dip over here to the side and let it all slip by. So think of that when you're slipping. You can take parrying and make slipping come right off of it. Just a natural extension of it. That's what you want it to be, comfortable and natural. Now, along with slipping and parrying, you also learn how to block. There's several ways to block. The easiest one, the most effective, is just keep your hands up. That way you can pull them in and cover up your chin and the soft tissue in your face, then you won't take that damage. The other thing you can do to block is stick something up there. I mean, stick a whole bar up there so you can't get in. If I start getting really uncomfortable here, I'll put my hands up and I'll block some of that. But if some other stuff starts getting through, look at this. I can throw my whole elbow up there and cover this entire side of my face. Now this complete side is protected and I can still see over what's going on. This is what I call an emergency block. Things get bad and your technique starts going awry. Look at this. Throw punches at me. Just create a complete barrier for him to get through. I can still see what's going on. I'm looking right over this thing. But it's like a giant arm right in front of my face. So they're slipping punches, and if things get really bad, just throw up a block as big as you can get. Whether it's here or here, throw up as big a block as you can to stop everything right away. And you don't have to worry about it. Let me show you my favorite now, and that's kicking. Power kicking. Even though we're saying it's power kicking, I want to show you the safety kicks first. And I call them safety kicks because they don't have a lot of power, but they're very safe. Hence the safety kick. So the first one is a defensive kick, which means he's coming towards me or there's something coming towards me. And it's a front kick. And here's how it works. If I have something come towards me, I'm going to raise my knee up and just straighten my whole leg out. Almost like an arm sticking out there and pushing it. Like a barrier. What that'll do is if he's bringing aggressive motion towards me, it'll stop whatever he's doing. And what I have to do to get that kick up there is I have to bring my knee up and then get my leg straight and get my body balanced behind it. So a lot of times you'll need your arms out there to get a little extra balance, and you'll also just have to push it out and make contact, similar to a punch. Once that contact is done, boom, then you can get your stance back right away. The important thing is don't leave your leg out there. If I leave my leg out there, watch what will happen. He'll pick it right up, and I'm going down or going to sleep or getting kicked. That's not safe. So safety kick is the front kick, and that's up, kick, back to the stance right away. The second safety kick I want to show you is called the inside-out kick, or the pendulum kick. The way this one works is I kick the inside of his leg here, right on the soft tissue, and I never go forward to do it. That's why it's considered a safety kick. So I'm going to swing into his body, kick the inside of his leg, and move my body back out while never really moving forward. That part's hard to understand. I'll do it a few times right here, show you my hands where they should be, and I want to get on a line and show you so you understand why it's called the pendulum kick. Let's turn you a tiny bit over here. Okay. So my kick is, we're in this situation. He's not being aggressive towards me, but he's still here at 12 o'clock, so I'm going to get a small attack on his leg. I want to take the inside of my bone, right here, swing it right into the soft tissue and the tendons on the inside of his knee. This kick is more of a distraction and a, hey, get away from me kick. Quit bothering me. So that's how I'm going to set this kick up. I'll swing in, kick him on the inside of his leg, and move my feet back out. While I'm doing this kick, both kicks, I have to make sure that my hands are up or in front of me and protecting me. I got to be able to move, parry, slip, and get that stuff out of the way. Watch my hands and watch my feet as I go in. So this is called the inside out or the pendulum kick. And let's go over here on this line. I'll show you why they say that. The reason it's called a safety kick is, here's the center of my balance, this line right here. Centered, I'm relaxed. My opponent's 12 o'clock in front of me. And I'm actually going to swing my legs over the line and back. But I'm never going to step forward. That's why it's a safe kick. Watch my feet. I'll cross the line and I'll come back. But I'll never go all the way across the line. So I'm never really stepping into his power or into his zone. I'm just swinging over, kicking, and swinging back. This is how I teach people, and this is how I recommend that you learn. Get that line so your brain understands it. I'm not going to go over here and kick him. I'm just going to swing in, do my kick, come back to my stance where I'm safe and where I'm most comfortable. Now we can do power kicks and really get into kicking. Kicking will take you a lifetime to master, but the concepts are incredibly simple. They all start from the clock. What I didn't tell you earlier was Maurice Smith told me the clock theory. I don't know where he got it, but he used it throughout his career in kickboxing and went 18 years undefeated. So I believe in it. It's something that I follow and teach and train everyone that I do. So we're going to use the clock theory. We're going to develop power kicking right now. Just like punching, kicking and power, especially power kicking, requires that full chamber of your body where you get that maximum power. That's what we're going to begin to develop right here. So Kelly, we got him at 12 o'clock. He is now my opponent. I'm going to do a nice power kick, and I'll kick the leg first, because kicking the leg is the easiest and the most damaging to him. Just like punching, I'm going to step over here at 45 degrees or on my clock at 10 or 2 o'clock. Once I'm here, I'll go to the ball of my foot, and I'm going to swing that leg in and chamber my whole body. So you notice my body is turned from one side completely to the other. This is where your power comes in. Your hands, your arms, everything is used to generate power to get that kick in there. So we'll do it again. I'll show you. I'm going to step off to the ball of my foot, knee slightly bent. All of my weight is transferring from this center to here, and the rest of it we're just going to swing in and kick him with it. That was a good one. I hit you in the bone.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll do some more kicks. I'm just going to keep showing you with the right leg. Power kicking is very simple. I will step to the same place every time to kick the leg, the body, or the head. So power kicking is one step, one stance, and one kick. The way you change the levels is you just go higher or lower on your foot, and you bend your knee more or less. We're going to keep kicking the leg. I want to show you, and I also want you to pay attention to my foot. Watch how it turns and watch how my hips pivot, and I get all the power in there. So again, we'll step to the time zone we want to kick at, and we'll do our kick all the way in there. Notice my foot turning all the way around. All of the energy is turning and pivoting into his body. Nothing is staying back. Everything is turning, making contact. Turning and making contact. If I want to kick the body, it's the exact same kick, but I won't bend this as much. I'll lift it up a little bit more, which will enable my kick to go into the body. I don't want to straighten my leg higher or lift my leg any higher. It's the same motion. It's very linear. It flows with your body. I just want to slide it up into his body. Same step, kick right up into the body. Bend the knee a little bit more up, be able to kick right into the body. Chamber my whole body, create all the energy. You notice his hand even swings back a little bit. I need this for balance, and I need this to get the rest of my body over there, get the rest of my energy into that kick. Let me show you some more. To the body, to the body, to the body. And then we'll kick high. The only difference between kicking low and high is this leg right here. So for a guy my size, a guy Kelly's size, I may have to even get to the tip of my foot to get my leg up there. But it's the same kick over and over. I'm going to go step to my time zone and straight up. Just like you're kicking a football. Now, if I were kicking in a straight line, it would look like this. My leg would go straight up and down, just like I was kicking a football. I'd even swing my arms to get the energy into it. But because I step at that angle, that kick is now angled. And it should slide right into his body. That's for the right leg. It's really easy to kick for me with the right leg and for most people with the rear leg because it's step, ball of the foot, and kick. The other leg is exactly the same. And the only difference is that I'm actually going to step forward with my rear leg. And when I step, same thing is going to happen. Ball of the foot, slightly bent knee, and I'm going to try and chamber all that energy in there and make my kick. So watch my feet when I do the kick. Going to step over here, safety angle, 10 o'clock, and I'm going to throw my leg up there. Same thing, I'll use my arm, all of my energy to create that hip turn and get my body completely chambered and all the way through there. Let me show you some left leg kicks, and let's see if we can cheat you over here. I'll cheat over here. And watch my combination. Good balance. I can punch, step, kick. Punch, step, kick. Or I can just step, kick. Every time, ball the foot, pivot it through. Ball the foot, pivot it through. That's where you get the energy to get power kicking in there. Power kicking is no joke. You can't just kick crazy at all times. You have to look for a spot to kick or distract them with something else so you can get a nice bone-jarring kick in there. That's power kicking. That's exceptionally effective. In fact, I just broke my leg 6 weeks ago kicking someone else because I was kicking so hard. So be careful where you kick, but definitely kick hard. I want to show you now some really serious deadly combinations. Combinations that are almost strategies in themselves. where you can get maximum efficiency from your punching and kicking while at the same time being diverse and being kind of sneaky about stuff. You'll get a kick out of these. The first one is one of my favorites. It starts with the inside-out kick, and then it follows with the right hand. The reason why this is so effective is the inside-out kick, if the guy stays there, will actually move his leg a little bit to the side and open up his body. Square him up, if you will. When he's squared up, it gives you the perfect opportunity to come right down the inside with that right hand. Now, we've taught the inside-out kick as a passive safety kick, where I'm kicking and I'm actually going back out. I'm going in and I'm going out. You can do a number of things with the inside-out kick. Once you're comfortable with it, and I've got a good reaction out of him, if I see that leg come up, I'll actually step in instead of backing out. And this will set me right up for my right hand. It's a beautiful combination. Gets people every time, especially because you're attacking the leg here and then going back up to the head, which makes it hard to figure out where the next strike is really going to come from. So let me show you a little bit in real time what it looks like. I go inside out, right hand. And you'll see how it squares up the body for him and opens him up for that nice right hand down the center. Now, a lot of times I'll have the intention to throw the technique, but I won't get the reaction from him. So I'll start, and he won't do anything. I'll just back out and stay safe. But if I get the reaction I want, bam, I come right down the pipe with the right hand. Beautiful combination. Works every time, especially if you've done this one a few times and you're getting a good, smack on that knee. You want to make your inside-out kick really effective, maximum potential out of it. Make sure that when you're working, don't just kick him with your foot. Your foot's got soft tissue and about 50 bones in it. Kick him with that one heavy bone on the inside of your ankle. So think about throwing that bone at him. So when I pendulum him, I'm actually going to hit him with the inside of my foot and try and get that bone to meet his tendon. If you've ever been kicked in your tendon with somebody's bone, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It hurts right away, and it's a great distraction tool. Let me show you the rhythm I would develop if Kelly and I were practicing this technique. It's something that flows. It's comfortable. I got my little constant movement thing going on, and I want to just slide in and throw that right hand. Slide in and throw that right hand. And then I can even add it up by not going in there. By just staying out and staying safe. Staying out and staying safe. If I get the reaction I want, I can slide in and throw that nice right hand. Man, I'll even do this one. I'll put my hand out there as like a little windshield wiper, and I'll stick it out there in his face so he doesn't see the right hand coming. This is a nice distraction technique that a lot of people don't think about until you really get the technique down. But watch my hand. As I throw it out there, it's like it's right in front of his face. I want to try and sneak this other one around behind it so he doesn't see it. Here's my rhythm. Oop. Shoop. 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 Love this technique. Deadly combination number 2. One of my favorites, one of the simplest techniques to learn, and one of the most effective. Always go back to this. I don't know how many fighters I've yelled at to jab kick. I'm going to show you the jab kick. The good thing about the jab kick is if I just stand out here and kick, I'm vulnerable and everyone can see it coming. If I jab, I can jab off to the angle and with a kick to follow. I'm doing a 2-prong attack. One will get his head up, maybe parrying, maybe slipping. The other one moves me to a safety position, and I'm already ready to kick. Jab kick. Very important. So here we go. I'm going to jab off at an angle, which already sets me up to come right in and kick. Simple breakdown technique. If I see he's getting a little bit tired or I've got the leg once or twice, I'm going to jab him up, get my position, and make that kick. There's actually 2 ways to do it. We're going to teach it as one singular motion. That's the most effective way. So I don't have any stops or halts in what I'm doing. Jab, kick. Jab, kick. Now your jab is still a pretty good jab. It's not straight, perfectly straight, and I'm not stepping forward and creating 100% power. But I'm still stepping off at an angle and got a nice solid jab. My real power is going to come in the chamber of that kick. So make sure you're on the ball of your foot. And make sure you're really ripping that thing in there and getting that full extension and 100% power on that kick. Let me show you my rhythm. If I were going to drill this, jab, kick, jab, kick, jab, kick, jab, kick, jab, kick, jab, kick. That's what you need when you're going to practice technique like this. You need a willing partner, Kelly, thank you, and you also need that repetition, that comfort, that control in your body where you're constantly chambering, breathing, and generating energy without getting stiff or getting uncomfortable or getting nervous. That's the jab kick. Always use that one. In fact, I would start every fight with that. I would just jab, kick, and then I'm like, all right, now we're ready, now we're ready. Deadly technique number 3, moving on. Again, we're going to have a 2-pronged attack. All these techniques are really good combinations that attack different levels of the body and kind of confuse your opponent. So that's where we're at. We're going to do the right hand, left kick. It's similar to the jab kick in that the punch lets me get my angle, and then I can get a nice solid kick in there. Let me show you how it's going to work. I'll throw my right hand, get a nice solid right hand. After the right hand, I'm going to step over here where my power is. So I'll go right hand, step off at the angle, and then there's my kick. And I like to kick the inside of the leg or kick the body. So nice, clean right hand, full chamber. I got to make it real. I got to let them know it's coming. And after I get it out there, I'm just going to take a step over here, get out of the way, throw my kick. If it's early in a fight, early in the sparring, I would go to the leg. If it gets later and later in the fight, I would go to the body. And then when you think you got him, then you can go up to the head and try that neck kick. Let me show you my rhythm. Good right hand, full extension, get the power in there. Then I'm going to step over here and kick. Here we go. Bam, 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 bam. That was a good one. I mixed that one up on you.
Yeah.
So again, doesn't really matter where you kick. That is metered by your leg, how much that bends, and where you want to land that kick. What's really important is that you distract him with the right hand. One way to get this technique is, this is what I usually do, is I go out there and I hit him with the right hand as hard as I can. So next time the right hand comes, he's going to go, whoa, here comes the right hand again. While he's thinking about that, I'm going to step off and get a good kick in there, get a nice score on the leg, try and break him down some more. This one is a little more complicated because you're leading with power, and then you're coming with the other leg. But it's really effective because it's the one that you don't expect to come. You don't expect anybody to lead with power, and you don't expect them to cross your body and kick the leg. This is a really good combination. I definitely recommend this one. You've used this one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Here we go with our last deadly combination, combination number 4. And this combination, again, applies to the principle of aggressive striking and then stepping off for a safety, good strike at the end where you do maximum damage. This is the 1-2-3 kick or knee. The reason I say kick or knee is you'll see in a second. The 1-2-3 should back your opponent up, move him out of the way, get him distracted so that you can step off the angle and get the maximum power out of your kick. And we'll start with the kick first. So I'll lead in with my hands, and I have to be aggressive. I have to move forward. I can't do the 1-2-3 here and then try my kick. It's not going to work. So I'll follow in 1-2-3, and then I'm going to step off at my angle and get my kick in there. Now, depending on the distance of him, if he's really close like he is right now, I may have to knee him, or I may be able to kick him instead. But the important thing is use your clean, straight punching to move him back, move him to the side, so that when you step off, you'll have a really good, solid kick. I recommend the jab, right hand, and left hook. As a combination, that 1-2-3 is probably the best combination you're ever going to get. Where I think you'll do the real damage and why this is a deadly combination is the follow-up kick or knee afterwards. So get him going, get him backwards, throw your follow-up power kick in there. Or get him going backwards and follow up with your knee. But make sure on all of your kicks and knees that you're stepping off at that angle, that you're sticking with your clock theory, and you're staying safe. Let me show you a couple rhythm pieces on this so you get an idea of what it looks like. And Kelly, just hang out there. Don't go anywhere. So I'm going to come in with my combos and get a nice finish kick. So while my combos and my techniques are good, I can't put all my energy and focus into them. I have to remember that I'm doing a combination. So I'm going to come in and bam, bam, bam. I want that last one to be the rest of the energy that's left, the last piece of my balance, and the last piece of my power. That's where you're going to get maximum damage. You can cross and do the left leg, but I recommend sticking with the right and sticking with your power. Because again, this is the coup de grace shot. I got him going, I've got him exactly where I want him. I want to pick. Is he leaning here? Is he bent over? Is he bent backwards? Where is that final maximum shot of power going to land so that I can do maximum damage on his body? Let me show him a couple rhythm pieces and then we'll move on. Important thing is I'm stepping off at that angle, that I'm doing my business and I'm getting safe and out of the way. And I want it to flow. I don't want it to stop and then make a step. I want this technique to be ingrained so that I see or I feel that his body's getting beat down. I hear his breathing, or I feel like he's weak, and I want to launch my coup de grace attack, and it's bam, 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 with a big shot on the leg, or bam, 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 with a good knee to the stomach. Use the combination of the hands to really get that power shot in. That's why it's the final deadly combination, and I think probably one of the most effective of all of them. Just because you have such a good distraction, just the distraction may win for you. If not, that follow-up shot, that knee or that kick, is always golden. Let's talk for a second about the switch, how you actually get damaged or knocked out, or the button, if you will, when you're striking. That's something we addressed. We addressed stance. We talked about balance, breathing, how to relax, how to be comfortable, how to move around. One thing we didn't talk about was the effects of being struck and how to avoid getting struck, at least in the position of your body. Kelly, will you take a good fighting stance over here for me, facing this way? Now, a good fighting stance has a lot of different things we talked about. The feet, balance, the centeredness, the ability to move forward, backward, side to side. One thing you have to remember is that your chin is just a switch that goes to your brain. If you get hit good on the chin, on the temple, or anything that shakes or snaps your head, your brain, as a self-defense mechanism, will turn itself off. That's called a knockout or a TKO. So a good solid stance, this is something extremely important. It seems mundane, but I really want you to listen. A good stance has a good hand that covers your chin at all times. Your chin should be tucked in a little hole here so that it's hard to get to. Think of it like a button. If I could reach in and turn that button off, he'd go to sleep right away. That's what good striking is about. That's what they call the sweet science of boxing. So look at his stance. His chin is tucked nicely here. He's got his right hand covering the other side. You'll notice his shoulder on this side. It's almost over here touching the other side of his chin. So it's like his chin is in a little hole, something I can't get to and access. This is what you want your fight stance to look like, and this is how you protect your button. More about it. It really is just a switch, and the smallest thing can turn it off. The more I'm fatigued, the more I'm distracted, the more my focus dissolves from this situation, the easier it is for my brain to become distracted and for it to turn off without me even knowing. Now, they say it's the punch you don't see, because if your brain is not prepared, it'll turn off automatically. Even if Kelly were to punch me as hard as he could in the chin, well, maybe not, but almost as hard as he could in the chin, as long as I could see it and my brain can understand what it is, it won't turn itself off. But the second I look away or I close my eyes and I'm not paying attention and I get hit, my brain will automatically shut itself off. That's what you have to worry about in striking. That's the only damage you're really going to take, besides kicks, knees and minor stuff like that. Protect your switch, protect your button, incorporate this into your stance so there's no chin to get to, and then you'll be a very effective striker. Okay, here's a little something we snuck in here. Tips, tricks, and cheats. This is the good stuff. This is the stuff that we don't show anybody. I'm going to start with kicking with the shin. Now, I was originally taught to kick with my foot, just the style I was taught. What I've found and what I've learned through the years of training that I've done is that if you can hit someone with your actual bone, you can do so much more damage with little damage done to yourself. And when I say kick with your shin, I mean that when you throw your kick, you need to kick with this bone right here. Not your foot, not your muscle, anything else. Specifically target with the bone. Maurice Smith taught me this a long time ago. I never really appreciated what he was doing. He would throw a kick very lightly at me, and he would leave his bone so the bone could hit me. If you want to kick someone and kick them hard, don't worry about turning it over. Don't worry about being fancy and everything else. Step off at your angle, turn your body, create as much power as you can, and consciously throw your bone at him so that when you're hitting him, it's with your actual bone instead of anything else. Think of it like this. If you get a good bone swinging, it's almost as if you're stepping in with a baseball bat and cracking him with that leg bone. That's the kind of kick you want to get. That's the tip I have for you for kicking. Use the bone. Don't worry about anything else, and don't kick with your foot because you just might break it. But we talked about kicking with the shin. Now, your shin is a giant bone, one of the biggest bones in the body. You also need it to block and check kicks. Now, I didn't show you how to check kicks. I want to show you here. A lot of people just take them. They can dissipate the power, whatever. But the one way you can stop it and stop it instantly is when he throws his bone at me, I'm going to stick my bone out there and make him kick it. Now, it's a little bit painful, but if you're fighting, who cares? As long as nothing breaks or, nothing falls off. So a good check for a kick is, I'm actually going to take my bone and I'm going to stick it directly in the center of his kick. Now, hopefully he's kicking with his foot, so when he kicks my bone, it'll just, traumatize him and not me. So, Kelly, why don't you throw a few kicks at me? And I'm going to do a soft check. I'm going to dissipate the power so it doesn't hurt you. Then I'll show him what a hard check is as well. We'll give him a little bit of secret stuff. So throw your kick. Just going to... that was supposed to stop. Sorry about that. That was supposed to be a soft one. I'll do a soft one. Okay, throw your kick. So he kicked my bone. That's the idea. I don't want him to kick the soft tissue in my muscle or the tendon on my knee. If he's going to kick me, I'm going to make him pay for it. I'm actually going to stick my bone up there and let him kick the bone. There's two types of checks you can do. You can do a stiff check, which means I keep this hard. I want him to kick it like a wall and hopefully hurt himself. Or I can do a soft check where I dissipate the power of it. So I'll do a soft check for real this time. Sorry about last night. I wasn't paying attention. And then I'll do a hard check. But be careful on the hard check because you don't hurt yourself. Right. So I'll do some soft check. Kick him with the... So I'm going to dissipate. I'm going to let the power run down my leg and just let it slide down to my foot. Then if you want, after it slides down, you can push it out, step in, and do your thing. Or you can hard check it. And hard checking is what you do when you want to hurt someone. When they're kicking you and you're like, I'm not going to take the kick. I'm going to make him pay. I'll stick my bone up there and I'll just flex my leg and I'll make it actually hard. And I'll try and do damage to him while he's kicking me. Now, I've seen a lot of people check kicks. And when I was originally taught to check a kick, I didn't really understand where my leg was supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to be over here somewhere or kind of this way, turned and crooked. It's not. All your leg does is it goes from here to there and comes back. Just enough to be in the center of his bone. You want it to be directly in the center of his kick. So if he kicks me once, give me a good kick, and I see it, and I want to stop it, the next time I'm going to try and just stick my leg right in the center of it. I don't want to bend it or do anything. Just lift the knee up with the hip muscle and stick it right in the center of his kick. That's what you want. And then again, it's soft or hard, depending if he's your friend or not. That's your tip for kicking and jamming, blocking a good solid leg kick. Here's a good cheat for you. I call it small retreat, big attack. We've talked about distance, we've talked about timing, we discussed how to get in there and bang and do all these other things, cut the angle and everything else. Here's what I found out. If you can get someone aggressively coming towards you, a lot of times they'll overextend themselves trying to punch you. A lot of times they'll overreach, change their balance, because they think they're going to get a shot in on you. Well, if you can just take a little bit of a step backwards and open up his body, it's so easy to move a little bit backwards and come right in and get him with a good shot. This is what I call my small retreat, big attack. I know he's punching at me, and as long as I'm comfortable and I can deal with the situation without getting hit, if I have good timing and distance, I can take some of those punches in just enough to get out of the way and then come right back with my good, strong strike. Really effective. This is a huge one. You can also do it for kicking, anything else. As long as you're comfortable, you're covered up, you know what's going on, and you have the ability to just, get out of the way enough and then see the situation for what it is and come right back in. And I recommend when you come back in to have a big attack. Small retreat, big attack. I may move just enough to get out of the way, but when I come back, I'm going to take as big a step as I can and really get in there with the right hand, with the knee, with the kick, with whatever power shot you want to come back with. Make sure it's a power shot. Don't do a small retreat and then hit him with a jab. It's not going to do anything. You want him to go, I'm hitting him, and really open himself up. And when he's there, be ready, be conscious, and bam, get him with that short power punch. The last thing that we're going to deal with, and it is part of striking, is the clinch. We talked about parrying, moving the head, slipping, changing angles, all these other complicated things that have to do with striking, but there's one way to squash it all, to get rid of it all, and that's the clinch. You see in boxing all the time, things get rough, and they grab up and they do a little bit of clinching in here. You get a good clinch and you'll stop all the striking right away, regardless of how good his striking is. A lot of people, when they begin to spar, they forget about clinching. I get a good flurry on me and I get a good shot, I sometimes forget that I can just grab him and stop everything. Now, I recommend that you, anytime you feel discomfort, you get a good shot in on you, grab a hold of the guy, wrap him up, get control of his arm so you're not getting struck. Now, there's a lot of different wrestling takedowns and throws and all other things that you can do, but the most important thing is just get rid of the hands. Tie them up. Whatever you want to do. Grab them, hold them, wrap them. Get rid of them so you don't have to worry about it anymore. That's the real secret to getting out of danger in striking. So my example is, things are going, I do my little slip. Hey, I'm looking all good. I get some shots in, whatever. If I get a good shot and it's uncomfortable, doesn't matter how I get into that clinch. I could take a shot to my grill as long as I'm getting the hands and wrapping the hands up. Once you wrap the hands up, you can change the tempo of what's going on. You can change with striking to the knees or pushing him or whatever, you can change the energy of the fight because he no longer has the balance, position, and control to do damage to me because I took it all away. And if you want his balance, you can even move him a little bit. Now he can't strike you at all. So the last thing I would say, and it's a cheat for striking. If you're not comfortable with the striking, wrap him up. Grab his arms. Make it so he can't strike anymore, and then he'll be out of danger. That's a program for power striking, how to strike with maximum power and not get hit. And I know that some of the things I did look simple and were really smooth and effective. I've been studying this for a long time. I've been studying for 8 years. Only in the last 5 years have I really gotten good at it. So it's going to take you a little bit of time. Do the drills. Everything follows in successive order. If you do it the way it's been shown and you follow the steps, you will be very effective. It's going to take you time to get comfortable and to get relaxed when people are throwing punches at you and you're in those high-stress situations. But you got time. Take your time, train your body, train your feet, and it will be very, very effective for you.
I remember just, trying techniques and them totally failing, and then some totally becoming successful. And the ones that were successful are the ones we clung to, and the ones that didn't work, we just threw them out. I always go back to what Bruce Lee said. He said, use nothing as the way. There really is no path. You just, whatever works, you use it. Whatever doesn't, throw it out.
Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Shamrock, the 5-time undefeated Ultimate Fighting Champion. And in this program, I'd like to show you how to avoid the takedown, how to defend the takedown, and how to stay on top. And for this, we'll bring Kelly in, my partner Kelly Delonte. We're going to start with showing you the dynamics of a takedown and why a takedown works. That way we can understand it and combat it in the future. So the dynamics of a takedown are that he lowers his level or position and actually attacks or grabs my hips. Taking my hips out from me takes away my balance and my stance, which will eventually get me down. There are 3 parts of a takedown. The first part is impact, and that's usually what gets people down. And the impact in this instance is lowering of the body weight, striking the center of the hips or stomach area, and then pulling out. So you have an impact similar to a punch that pushes the inside of your body out, which disrupts your balance here. So that impact starts like this and actually strikes the body either on the shoulder or the head and pushes through the body like this. So that it takes the hips, blasts them backwards, and begins to fold you down. That's number one, first part dynamic of the takedown. The second dynamic of the takedown is angles, changing of angles. So after an impact, usually a good takedown will begin moving to either direction, which will disrupt your balance even more. So we have a piece of impact which messes up your stance, and then we usually have them pushing sideways, which further disrupts your body, brings you over to one of the sides. So those are the first 2 dynamics of a takedown. The third dynamic for the takedown is the lifting of the hips. So we have impact, we have angle changes, and now we have lifting of the hips. And all of your throws, all of your body lifts, all of your clinches involve lifting of the hips. So one of the dynamics of the takedown that you really have to avoid is anyone getting their hips underneath yours and actually being able to lift you up. And once you're up in the air, you're done. So anything